Have you ever stood before a painting for so long that your heart went still quieted by its beauty? But then when you turned back to your own life, all you saw were the smudges, the empty spaces, the unfinished strokes that never quite became a picture. We praise artists for their creativity, yet live as if our own lives aren't worth painting. We search for beauty in music, in art, in other people, but rarely in our own breaths. Have you ever just sat still, listened to the wind slip through the window, and realized that silence itself is also art? Nietzsche once said, "Art exists so that life does not destroy us." It sounds pessimistic at first, but it's really a gentle warning. If we stop creating, life will slowly consume us. Look around. Everyone is rushing, chasing schedules and deadlines, as if life were an exam that must be aced. But art has no grades. No one scores a sunrise, no one ranks the morning dew. And yet we're afraid to let our own lives be as wild and unmeasured as those things. Nietzsche didn't write philosophy for bookshelves. He wrote for those worn down by living. He said, "We have art lest we perish from the truth." Because life, when made only of reason, becomes rigid as stone. Only art, only a soul that still trembles, keeps us from turning into machines. And if you listen closely enough, you'll hear it, a small artist within you, waiting to come back to life. So pause for a moment, take a deep breath, feel the air move through you. That's your first brush stroke today. Because if you don't dare to paint, someone else will take the brush and call it your life. From this moment, you can begin again. You don't need much, just one small intention to live a little more artfully than yesterday. Every morning you wake to the sound of your phone. Before you even hear your own heartbeat, the world rushes in. Someone just succeeded. Someone just fell in love. Someone just lost something they thought would last forever. And you sit there scrolling like a guest outside the door of a party you were never invited to. The days pass one after another. You work, eat, sleep, reply, smile, when you should stay silent when expected. Everything looks perfect, and yet nothing feels real. Life becomes a rehearsed routine, and you're afraid to stop, because if you did, you wouldn't know who you are anymore. Nietzsche once said, "Modern man does not suffer from poverty or illness, but from the loss of meaning." We live surrounded by abundance, yet starved of soul. We have everything except the feeling of being alive. Sometimes you stare at the ceiling, feeling your heart beating without knowing why. Something inside still whispers, softly, stubbornly, "I want to live for real." Not to be seen, but to feel, not to earn applause, but to smile at your own reflection and know you're still here. But that voice, day after day, is buried beneath the noise of the world, beneath the rules of be stable, be reasonable, be like everyone else. We're taught how to be safe, but no one teaches us how to be alive. And so little by little, we close the door to our hearts. We stop dreaming, stop writing, stop singing, stop watching clouds drift by. We grow older, but our souls shrink. From the child who once laughed at butterflies, we become the adult afraid of sunlight because it might make us late. Nietzsche called it the death of the creative spirit. It happens the moment we stop asking, "What do I want?" and begin asking, "What do others expect of me?" That's when the soul begins to fade. Do you ever miss yourself, the version who stayed up just to write nonsense, who laughed under the rain, who believed life was worth living for? No reason at all, that person is still there. You just stopped visiting them. Nietzsche saw this a century before it became our reality, a world strangled by standards, where beauty is measured in likes and freedom is traded for approval. He didn't scream, he whispered with the voice of a free soul, "Live as an artist." Because an artist dares to face their chaos and turn it into light. They don't hide their feelings, don't apologize for their sadness. They touch it, shape it, and create beauty from it. But we, when we're hurt, we hide. When afraid, we fake a smile. When exhausted, we say, "I'm fine." We repaint our faces every day so others can keep believing we're strong. Yet the more we hide, the duller our portrait becomes. Nietzsche never asked us to be perfect. He only asked us to be real, to let life have its smudges and cracks, because that's where the soul breathes. A life without emotion, without contradiction, is a white wall, clean but lifeless. Maybe you feared being different, but that difference, that trembling, imperfect line, is your signature on the canvas called life. Don't fear shaky hands, don't fear wrong colors, don't fear not blending in. True artists don't fear being ugly. They only fear being fake. Sometimes it takes just a moment, a pause, a breath, a new way of seeing the same world to start living like an artist again. Because art isn't in museums, it's in every breath, every choice, every second you dare to live truthfully. Most people don't live wrongly, they simply live without creating. And so their lives pass quietly like a song with no high notes. If you feel tired, it isn't because you're weak. It's because your soul is longing to paint again. And trust me, you can start right now with the colors of your own heart. Nietzsche was never born to be a cold philosopher. He was a man who loved life so deeply that it broke him. And because he loved it that much, he had to find a way to stand tall inside its tragedy. He looked at the world, a place where nothing has meaning unless someone dares to breathe a soul into it, and chose a path few would ever take to turn suffering itself into an art of living. He said, "Man is a bridge between beast and overman." It wasn't about power, it was a reminder that we are still becoming. We are not finished, but we hold the rare ability to shape ourselves not with money or status or fame, but by living each day as if carving our spirit into the surface of the world. When we begin to see life as a work of art, everything changes. Sadness is no longer a burden, but the shadow that makes light visible. Failure stops being an ending. It becomes the first coat of color on the canvas of what comes next. Every wound, every detour, every heartbreak, each one is a brush stroke. Maybe not beautiful yet, but necessary to make the painting real. Nietzsche believed true beauty lives not in perfection, but in becoming. No flower ever blooms in perfect peace. It blooms from soil, from darkness, from rain. And so do we. Only after walking through chaos can we understand the meaning of harmony. He called it amor fati, the love of fate. Not endurance, love. To love even what once hurt you, to love everything that shaped you, because without it you would not be who you are today. Imagine a cracked ceramic bowl. In Japan, they don't throw it away. They mend it with gold, an art called kintsugi, the art of healing with light. The cracks aren't hidden, they become the very lines that shine, and the bowl once broken becomes more precious than before. Your cracks are the same. They are not flaws, they are openings. Places where your soul exhales, light forged from experience and compassion. Life doesn't need you perfect. It needs you honest. Some people use pain to complain. Others use it to paint, to write, to live more deeply. That is what Nietzsche meant by the art of living, to see that everything deserves love, even tragedy. He once said, "I want to learn to see the world as a poet does, to see poetry in the storm and music in the silence." One who lives that way is no longer pushed around by life. They are dancing with it. Think of a river. It doesn't fear the stones. It doesn't turn back. It flows around them softly, persistently, and in time it shapes entire canyons. It doesn't complain. It simply flows. And in that quiet strength lies its power to create beauty. We are like that river. Every challenge, every stumble is a curve in our own course. When we meet it with love, we're walking the artist's path. Nietzsche never asked us to escape suffering. He asked us to dance with it. When you cry, let your tears show you what's still alive in you. When you're angry, let it reveal what you long to protect. When you're weary, let it teach you the grace of stillness. Everything holds meaning if you look deeply enough. Every darkness hides a spark if you're patient enough to wait. He called those who live this way the ones who say yes to life. Those who can say, yes, this is my pain, but I will turn it into music. The ones who can stand in the storm and still see flowers blooming by the roadside. When you stop blaming life, you begin to create it. Because only when you accept everything that is yours can you touch freedom. Then every breath, every step, every glance becomes a stroke of color. Your life doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be true. Truth is the only color that never fades. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. Feel your sorrow, your joy, your regrets, all quietly alive inside you. These are your materials. Don't push them away. Look at them the way an artist looks at a palette, and one day you'll see it was the darkest shades that made your picture glow. Then you'll understand why Nietzsche said, "I love those who can create themselves." Because to create yourself is not to become someone else. It is to return to the wild, radiant soul that still knows how to dance, how to love, and how to burn bright inside the dark. If life is a stage, whose role are you playing? It sounds like a simple question, but it cuts straight through the soul. Most of us don't live like actors. We live like the audience, sitting in the dark, watching others shine, clapping when they're happy, but never stepping onto our own stage. Nietzsche once said, "Become who you truly are, not the version society expects, not the imitation of your heroes, but you raw, imperfect, conflicted, yet utterly real." The art of living is not about avoiding suffering, it's about shaping it. A true artist doesn't flee from chaos, they use it to create. They know that without night, the stars would never be seen. Some people live to avoid mistakes, but Nietzsche taught us mistakes are brush strokes too. If you don't dare to try, your canvas will remain blank. There is nothing more beautiful than a life covered in paint from your own hands. We often demand life to be fair, but art has never been fair. A great poem doesn't come from peaceful days, but from sleepless nights, from the kind of pain that steals your breath. Light only exists because darkness gives it contrast. Nietzsche believed that the ones who dare to say yes, yes to everything, even pain, are the ones who truly touch freedom. Not the outer kind, but the inner one, when fear no longer drags you, and you no longer run from your own feelings. That freedom doesn't come with applause. It comes in silence, when you sit alone, with no one watching, and still smile at yourself. Those who live like artists don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What can I make from this?" They don't try to fix the painting, they keep painting. Because they know every wrong line can still become part of something right. If today feels like the darkest chapter of your life, remember, every masterpiece needs a deep base layer for its bright colors to glow. Without darkness, there's no depth. Without depth, no soul. There's a line from Nietzsche that few truly understand: "I would only believe in a God who could dance." It wasn't arrogance. It was a vision of a free spirit, one who dances amid the ruins, sings through the storm, and smiles knowing life is fleeting. That is the art of living, not demanding life to be beautiful, but making it beautiful by the way you live inside it. You are not a victim of fate, you are the artist shaping it. You can choose your colors, blend tears with light, and craft a masterpiece from what others call loss. And perhaps that is the deepest freedom Nietzsche spoke of, when you stop asking what life will give you and start asking what you can create from it. Because in the end, those who live like artists don't chase happiness, they create it. They don't wait for peace. They weave it into every breath they take. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your chest, then slowly leaving your body. That is your rhythm, a melody no one else can imitate. Nietzsche believed that to live beautifully does not mean to live perfectly, but to live with style. Some paint their lives in bold strokes, others in soft, warm tones. Neither is wrong as long as they live truthfully. The beauty of a life isn't found in walking the right path, but in how you walk it. Your road may twist, filled with stones and turns, but if you walk it with heart, even the stones will shimmer in sunlight. Nietzsche once said, "I would only believe in a God who could dance." A dancing soul is not one that escapes pain. It is one that smiles in the midst of ruins. It knows that everything changes, and because of that, it chooses to live deeper in the present. To live like an artist does not mean to chase attention. It means to live with sensitivity, to see beauty in small things, a ray of light through leaves, a drop of water resting on your hand, a silent hug that says everything. We often think of art as something distant, but in truth, art lives in every choice you make, in the way you say thank you, the way you forgive, the way you slow down in the middle of a hurried day. Every act is a brushstroke, and you are painting the style of your soul. You may not realize it, but you have lived through thousands of shades. Some were so dark, they frightened you. Yet without them, your painting would have no depth. No one wants to suffer, but pain teaches us how to love. No one likes loss, but loss teaches us to cherish what remains. Love the blurred lines in your life. Because sometimes where your hands trembled the most is where your heart was most sincere. You no longer need to prove anything. You are not someone else's sketch. You are a masterpiece still in progress, but already one of a kind. From today on, live as if you are the artist painting your own life. Do not wait for inspiration. Begin with silence. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because this moment, with all its flaws and accidents, is already part of the artwork. Let your eyes learn to see with gratitude. Let your heart dance with every change. And let your soul be free as Nietzsche was, as all true artists are those who create meaning out of living itself. One day when you look back, you will see every pain you endured was just an outline for something beautiful yet to come. And you will smile because finally you didn't just exist, you lived. Remember, no one can define the beauty of your life but you. No one else can hold the brush. It rests in your hands, and every breath is a new stroke of color. And if today you do only one small thing, whisper this as a promise to yourself. I choose to live like an artist, imperfect but true, because in this noisy world, truth is the rarest art of all.